Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot and a member of the PMDG 737 tech team. Welcome to our first flight in the PMDG 737-700 in Flight Simulator 2024. Today we're going to fly from NK Studios' brand new Porto scenery, which is a fantastic addition to our simulator. And we are going to head over to Luxembourg for a lovely nighttime arrival. Now, Porto is really beautifully modeled. They've done a fantastic model of the terminals here. I've recently been to the airport on holidays and I can really say that they got this one. They really got this one. You can walk all the way landside if you wanna, and well, you can find your way all across the terminals. Overall, lovely modeling. So hey, why don't we just get down here and into our 737? Now, quick word over here. Thank you very much to NK Studios for providing me with a review copy of Porto Airport. And then I'd say we are gonna get right into this one. So, I'm a little too lazy, not gonna walk all the way. Here we are in the 737. Now, I've done my best to recreate the real-world Luxair configuration of the 737-700 as good as possible. Couldn't find 100% accurate data, but nonetheless we are as close as we are probably going to get. Now, if you do notice any differences to the real plane, do put them into the comments down below. Alright, and then I'd say we can get right into this. We are going to start this with a look at the flight plan. So let's go right down into the electronic flight pack and request our data from SimBrief. And then we can start opening the flight plan and having a look down here. So the significant weather chart's pretty clear today. Actually, it's just more or less a straight line over to Luxembourg once we've reached the Spanish coastline. And then we can already check out the airport weather, which is right over here. Luxembourg has easterly winds, clear skies, 14 degrees, and it's pretty much gonna stay like that throughout the day today. And our alternate in Brussels is absolutely wonderful as well. So with that in mind, very easy decision on the fuel quantity that we want to take here. We are going to be a little bit late, so might want to check what it costs to fly a little bit faster. Apart from that, easy stuff down here, not critical with any of those weights. Cruising in flight level 380. Okay, so quick look at the fuel plan. Down here, flying cost NX100 costs 200 kilos extra fuel. Saves us 6 minutes of flight time, probably going to do that. So looking down here, we got 7.5 plus taxi 7.7 plus the 200 for cost NX100 gives us 7.9 tons of fuel, and that's what we are going to take today. So let's go right down here and into the services. So give me that menu, FS actions, ground services, and down here we can order the fuel truck. We want 7,900 kilos of fuel. Let's go ahead and put that down here, and as soon as they have started putting that on, we can call for GSX to start our boarding. So just to be sure that GSX doesn't mess it up, 132 like this, and I think that was like 1,500 in the hold or something. Just so that we have something in here so that when I request boarding in GSX, it doesn't think that we are completely empty and then doesn't do anything. I think we should have it now. Fuel truck is attaching, GSX, then we can call for boarding up here. Alright, so that stuff is now in progress. Then we have just arrived here in Luxembourg and we are setting the airplane up for our turnaround. Now, that means that I am going to go out for the walkaround while you can start the cockpit setup, which is probably not going to happen in the background, so we'll just be doing it one after the other. But okay, refueling is commencing. Then let's go ahead and ensure that we got the hydraulics on, we got our fuel pump on, we got the wheel well light on, and then we can out for our walkaround. Now, walkaround is really fun to do with the brand new PMDG model here. They've just done a fantastic job on the outside model of the 7.3. What is GSX doing? Okay, so yeah, fantastic job on the 737 here. Now we are using the external pit power, as you can see. which comes with the advantage that the entire thing is a little bit more quiet here as well. Alright then, let's head all the way over. Refueling is in progress. Then we can have a quick look down here into the ram air inlet. Quick look up here and into the engine. Over here everything is fine, no damages to the fan blades. Now then we can continue. Refueling is in progress, and look at that, plugged into the correct spot there as well. I mean, it's the PMDG refueler, it's not the GSX refueler, so I would kind of expect that. Alright, so the green light is there, the static quick discharges are there, all the trailing edges are looking fantastic. Then we can head into the wheel well real quick, check if there is sufficient hydraulic quantity both there and there. No sign of leakages or anything the likes, everything looking fantastic. Looks like the nitrogen generation system is inoperative. That happens like all the time in the 737. Don't ask me how I know. Alright, so you keep going over there, and in the meantime we are gonna go up to the back here and check the outflow valve, which is open and looking good. The elevator, feel, computer, pitot, probe, god is that a difficult word, is in a good shape, and the rudder is there, including all the static wick discharges, the same for the stabilizer. Alright, on the other side the elevator, computer, and fuel... Okay, I'm not gonna say that word. The pitot probe at the back is looking good. Now the landing gear is in a good shape down here, and up here no sign of bird strike damages or anything. Then let's get in here. Our squibs are looking good as well, so is the rest of the wheel well. Now let's have a look at the left-hand wing, and a little story here, as we are already talking about Porto and stuff that's important during walkarounds. One day I used to fly to Porto, flew back to my home base, and when we arrived at the home base, an engineer came like, "Hey, you caught quite the bird." We were like, "We're not aware of any bird. Like, nothing's been going wrong, we didn't hear anything." Oh yeah, there was a bird. There was a big bird hanging right up here between the mount of the engine and the wing. And, well, apparently that thing was stuck there for like 2.5 hours flight, and absolutely nobody, no passenger, no cabin crew bothered to even inform us that, you know, there was something there. You would think that passengers would get, let's just say, a little ecstatic when they see that. They might tell the cabin crew, who would tell us, but nope, nobody cared. So yeah, not much about Porto and walkarounds in 737s. Alright then, I would say our aircraft is looking fantastic, so let's go right back inside, and then we can start our pre-flight procedures. Now, boarding is in progress. Then let's just gonna get right into it. Give me that electronic flight pack down there. Refueling still in progress as well. So let's get going. FMC, and here we go. Route flight plan request from SimBrief. Select that please. And the uplink is in progress. Then we can go ahead and collect our departure charts, which are down here, airport and the parking stands. And then we also need a SID, which is going to be the 219 Lima departure. Oh yeah, I've flown that one a couple times. Alright, here we go, 219 Lima. Here we go. Okay, so the route is ready. Let's go ahead and load that, and at the same time we can head out into the menu, data link, ATS, ATIS, and looking for Lima Papa Romeo. Okay, send that ATIS request, please. Cool, so our routing is here. Then let's go ahead, departure and arrival from Porto's runway 17, 219 Lima is that one, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so 219 Lima, and in Luxembourg we are going to, for the time being, plan the ILS Zulu approach runway 24, and that comes with the Mike Mac Delta to Victor arrival. Which is that one. Alright, now a quick check. The arrival ends in Vavot, so let's go ahead with the Vavot 3 Sierra transition. Okay, activate and off we go. So, cost index, as mentioned, 100. Then we need some reserves, which are 1.2 plus 1, so 2.2. Okay, zero fuel weight, 51.5, flight level 380 as cruising level. Average wind is tailwind at 8 knots, so I'm gonna call that 245 at 8. Up there, top of climb, temperature is minus 61. And the transition altitude 4001. Okay, takeoff page. I do believe they are using noise abatement procedure number 1 here, so we'll do an acceleration altitude in 3000. Then on the VNAV page we have 250 below 100. And finally, fix page, LPPR. Actually tell you what, we're gonna do that slightly different. So, legs page, end of it, that's LPPR slash, let's see what the runway heading is, 169er slash 25 miles. And if I enter that in Boeing format, it is going to understand it. So, Porto 169 slash 25, like that. Now we are gonna create a discontinuity, and then holding, next holding, and the legs page, give me that one please. That's gonna be 169 inbound right hand turns, and I do believe 4000, or is it? Yeah, pretty much 2200. That's due to the mountains over there, including number 1, yeah, 3000 within 15 miles, and the rest then because of the mountains over here. Okay, yeah, 3000 is going to keep us safe as well. So let's do 3000 above. Alright, cool, and that thing is called Lima Papa Papa 01. So let's enter that over here, and that's it. Okay, fantastic. So that's everything in. Now let's go ahead and have a look into the ATIS. And that is Porto information, Sierra, runway 17, 240 at 6, few clouds, scattered clouds, 17 degrees, QNH 1023. Okay, set once and twice. And actually, why is it setting that twice? I think I might not have changed my settings here yet. Let's quickly do that. Yeah, you go on, you sync nothing, IRS. Should be realistic anyway. So, thrust lever position when moving, override no. And that's pretty much everything set. You should be on. Alright, cool. So with that, everything is set. Okay. So, how about we get our IFR clearance? So, data link, ATS, log, artist. That is information Sierra. Then, let's go for departure clearance. ATIS Sierra. ATC center is going to be Porto. We'll call it good evening. And we're on stand Sierra 32. Alright, that looks good to me. So let's send that clearance request and then see where that's gonna go. While we're waiting for the clearance to arrive, let's go ahead and have a look into our flight plan. So the SID is straight ahead to Xapim, 3000 or above. Left turn Papa Romeo 634, 4000 or above. Then a left turn Papa Romeo 638, flight level 70 or above. And 2-1, flight level 100 or above. Initial climb clearance, flight level 100. Like this, and that's it. Okay, good. So, let's see about the IFR clearance. Request being processed, standby. Okay. So, while we're waiting for that to finish, let's go ahead and check the rest of our flight deck over here. Refueling is complete by now, so the fasten belts are coming on. You should be on. You too. Cruising in, flight level 380, and the field elevation is 1,200 feet. Like that. No maintenance here, so left igniter is in use. So up here everything is set. Like that. Flight director switches are coming on. Runway heading 169, like that, and the same thing in the courses, like that, and like that. Alright, and with that we've set up that stuff. That's looking good, and up here the hydraulic quantity is looking good, and the oil quantity is good as well. QNH 1023 is in there, that stuff is set. Down here we can set that park and brake, frequencies to come later, then we can deselect the ILS, no longer gonna need that. Alright, and with that we are finished with our setup except for the frequencies. Okay, cool. So, let's go ahead and have a look at the IFR clearance. And that's cleared to Luxembourg, 219er Lima departure off runway 17, and we got 17, 219 Lima. So, maintain 10,000. That's now set, and departure 120.901, squawk 6423. So 6423 and 120.901. Okay, lovely. Then Wilco, clearance is accepted, and in here let's make those 10,000 hard. All right, cool. So done with the setup, almost at least. Still missing the MFRA, which is 1240. Oh, come on. Here we go, 1240. Alright, then copy and paste that to the other side. And here we go. Alright, cool. Are you ready for the departure briefing? So, threats for today's departure. Bird strikes. But nothing we can do about it. Alright then, let's continue with the route check. We are going from Lima Papa Papa Romeo to Echo Lima Lima X-Ray, Lima Golf Lima 32 Papa Romeo, and the routing is by 219 Lima Turon, Papa 600 R-Step, direct Lotti, direct Asphic, Upper November 741 Nantes, direct Pibis, direct to Sioux, Upper Mike 163 Lacoste, direct Charlie Tango Lima, direct Mike Delta for the standard arrival. That's with a ground distance of 880, which checks, 3.2 remaining, and 2.2 required, giving us about 20 minutes extra fuel. So, time UTC is now 1822, altimeter 1023, reading 240, flight directors are on, standby instruments are set, and minus the master. It's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 17, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, actually might be flaps 1 in this one, Noise abatement procedure 2, and we've got an engine out, sit straight at 25 miles, climbing 3000 to pick up the hold. Anything for a return is going to be off to the right hand side. Yeah, what else? Emergencies, as briefed in the crew room. And for our taxi, it's a pushback with the nose to the left hand side and then pretty much straight out. Let's have a quick look at that. Pinned airport charts. Alright, so we're going to taxi out via the aprons and then onto Echo, and we'll take golf figures for our takeoff. Maybe even Foxtrot 1, really. That should work as well. We'll see. We'll calculate them both, see what we have. Alright, our departure 219, left departure, climbing flight level 100, and contact Porto approach immediately after takeoff, 120.91. Transition altitude 4000, which checks against the FMC. And then, sit straight at, left, and couple MSAs. We do have a bit of terrain on that one, so you're going to use the terrain display here. I might actually be using it as well. Depends on whether we see anything that might be relevant for the weather radar when we line up. Okay, and that's it. Do you have any questions or suggestions? No. Alright, I like that. Then let's do the safety inspection checklist, and before start checklist, down to the line, please. That's services and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing or leave it down, and ship's library checked. IRS mode selectors, nav, gear pins 1, 2, and 3 removed. Probe covers 1, 3, 4, 5 removed. Light test is not applicable. Oxygen test 100%. Yaw damper on. Nav transfer and display switches normal and auto. Fuel 7 required, 7 9 on board, 4 pumps on. Cabin utility IV galley power on. Emergency exit lights on. Fast modes on. Window heat on. Air compressed. Pax auto bleeds on set. Pressurization mode selector auto. Instruments cross checked. Auto brake, RTO, hydraulics, normal speed brakes. Down detent. Parking brake set. Stop and cutout switches normal. Radius radar and transponder set and standby. Rudder and aileron trims 3 and 0. Take a brief and discussed. Holding at the PA. Alright, so by now everything should be completed, so let's go ahead and load the plane from SimBrief. Just make sure that we got the fuel 7,900 here, like that, and then we can do some performance figures. So 51.5 is checked, giving us 59.4, which is also checked, CG 25. So, performance tool, Porto, runway 17, weight 59,400, CG 25, anti-ice off, air conditioning on. Then let's find our weather. And that's 240 at 6. A temperature of 17 degrees and QNH 1023. Okay, that looks good. Then finally, let's find our intersection takeoff. So we said we're looking for anything from Foxtrot 1. Let's see, runway 17. They don't even have figures for that, do they? Well, Alpha 3. No, okay. If we can't get Fox 1, then we'll take Golf. So, from Golf, 2,650 meters. So, runway length 2650, calculate. And that's a flaps 1 takeoff at TO1 and 52 degrees. Okay, so, TO1, 52 degrees, and flaps 1 CG 25, giving us 5.3 units trim, which is checked against the EFB, and the takeoff speeds 34, 34, 36. Those are all within 1 knot from the EFB's calculations, so we can use the FMS speeds. So 137, like that. Alright, excellent. So with that, our takeoff calculation is finished. So, takeoff here, legs there, and that's it. Then start the APU, please. GSX, prepare for pushback and departure. Release ground power, no, not yet. Otherwise we're gonna get dark over here. Definitely don't want that. Alright, then let's say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Luxembourg, welcome aboard our Boeing 737-700 on our flight to Luxembourg. Today's flight time will be 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we would like to apologize. Due to a strong headwind, we are going to be slightly late on our arrival. Nonetheless, we are just closing up everything, and then we will make our way to Luxembourg as soon as possible to minimize any delay. Now, we are expecting 2 hours and 20 minutes flight time, smooth flight, and we are looking to be ready up here in a matter of the next couple of minutes. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew members. Cabin crew, all doors in flight. Ground from cockpit. Please confirm that all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and actually tell you what, you can remove all the ground equipment now. And yeah, that the bypass pin is installed. Alright, that's all confirmed, all removed, and we're ready to go. Roger that, I call you back. Okay, complete the checklist please. PA complete, FMC CDU set, N1 and ES packs, automatic, reduced 22K, speeds 33, 34, 37 set, stop trim 5.3 set, performance weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight runners and cockpit door, closed, doors closed, and passengers seated, before start checklist complete. Alright then, we are pretty much done. So let's go ahead and get that ground frequency and call for pushback. So, Porto ground 12104. Porto ground, Luxair 32 Papa Romeo, request pushback and startup.
Papa Romeo, push and start approved. Face north.
Push and start approved, facing north, Luxair 32 Papa Romeo. Before start checklist below the line, air compacts off, anti-collision light on, park and brake set, transponder alt off. Before start checklist complete. Ground from cockpit, pushback and start approved, facing north, park and brake set. Roger, release park and brake. So that's nose left. Okay, release park and brake. Park and brake released. Roger, start the pushback, stand by for engine start. Okay, my friends, and with that, off we go. Just gotta love the terminal modeling here. They've done that really, really well. MK Studios has, well, is always delivering an excellent job, but on this one, once again.
From Francisco de Sacarnero Airport to Luxembourg Pendular International Airport. Our estimated flight time is approximately 1 hour and 55 minutes. Please pay close attention to the upcoming safety demonstration, as it contains important information even for frequent flyers. Fasten your seat belts by inserting the metal tip into the buckle and pulling the strap to tighten.
Okay then. We are ready to start engines in sequence 2, then 1, and we'll commence with engine number 2. Engine 2 start.
Mobile phones and electronic devices must be set to flight mode, and larger devices should be stowed securely.
And 2.
Smoking and the use of e-cigarettes are strictly prohibited on board. Oxygen masks
Oil pressure,
drop
and 1.
Hold the mask firmly, place it over your nose and mouth, and breathe.
And pushback is completed. Set park and brakes. Park and brakes set. What is GSX doing? That is not sounding healthy.
Leave all personal belongings behind and follow crew instructions immediately.
Transfer 78 Yankee Yankee ready to taxi.
Starter cutout. Monitor 2 starting 1.
78 Yankee Yankee runway 17.
Engine 1 start.
Sierra 5 Echo 5.
Thank you for your attention.
Runway 17 taxi via Sierra 5
And 2.
Echo 5 France Soleil 78 Yankee Yankee.
Oil pressure and 1. Okay, here's the lifter. Start a cutout, monitor 1, 1 stable. And there's the ramp agent with the pin.
5 Whiskey Lima ready for pushback. Griffin 65 Whiskey Lima, push and start approved.
Okay, flaps 1.
Griffin 65 Whiskey Lima.
So, flight controls. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral. Rudders. Full left, full right, and neutral. Before taxi checklist, please. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe beat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto, bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps, 1 required, 1 selected, and green light, step trim, 5.3 required set, start lever idly turned, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete. Luxair 32 Lima Romeo requests taxi. It's Papa Romeo, but we'll see. ATC will notice. Probably not too many Luxairs here.
Luxair 32 Papa Romeo, runway 17 taxi via Sierra, Sierra 6, Echo, Echo 5.
Taxi runway 17 via Sierra, Sierra 6, Echo, Echo 5, Luxair 32 Papa Romeo. Okay. So, Sierra is over here, and then into Echo. Echo 5, that's probably, yeah, the very end. Okay. Clear right side. Clear left side. Let's go. Config. Everything's clear on the left. Okay, on the apron here, so let's stick to those 15 knots. Looking quite nice, isn't it? I like this airport. I like it a lot. Alright, so we continue straight ahead. And then it's gonna go downhill. And I mean that in the truest sense of the word, not in any metaphorical manner here. Is that the right word? I don't know, I'm just a dumb pilot. I can't express myself. Alright, anyway, here we are, and here is where it is going downstairs. Now, if you're an inbound to Porto and you are considering single engine taxi, don't do it unless you have climbed this hill already. Really only do it once you've climbed this hill. So, looks like there is one EasyJet in front of us. Alright, before takeoff checklist down to the line. That's config. Checked, flaps 1, 1 and the green light. Step trim 5.3 set. Takeoff briefing. Left seat takeoff, runway 17, flaps 1, noise abatement procedure number 2. PAX auto bleeds on, anti-ice off. And the SID straight ahead, and then a left turn, climbing the flight level 100. Contact departure immediately when airborne, and we've got an engine out, SID straight at 25 miles. The MSA up to 6,000 on the east, 2,200 on the west, and there is nothing special or non-standard over here. Yeah, that's it. Do you have any questions or suggestions? No? Alright.
Taxi to parking via Alpha, Bravo, Sierra 2.
So, cabin. Secured before takeoff checklist complete. Now, looks like there is one more aircraft in between.
Yankee contact tower on 118.005.
Switching to tower, France Soleil 78 Yankee.
That's pre-selected for us as well. Alright, Easy is taking off.
Papa Romeo, contact tower on 118.005, bye-bye.
118.005, looks at 32 Papa Romeo, bye-bye. Okay, so that and the departure is 120910. Porto Tower, looks at 32 Papa Romeo, ready for departure.
Luxembourg 32, Papa Romeo, Porto Tower. Runway 17, hold short. You're number 1 behind the 320 Neo.
Hold short, runway 17, looks at 32 Papa Romeo. Okay, parking brake set, and the 320 Neo is departing. So, I can't see anything on approach, that is good. I can, however, see that you are not using your ESB properly. Here you go, please. And when we're on it already, let's get those armrests into position. There we go. Not using those is 1 out of the 5 possible SOP points that you can get in a line check before you fail. Alright, the A320 is airborne.
France Soleil 78, Yankee, contact departure. Safe travel.
Switching to departure, France Soleil 78 Yankee.
Alright, then should be our turn.
Soleil 13, Quebec Lima, contact ground on 121.04.
Then it should be our turn any moment now.
Soleil 13, Quebec Lima.
So, too many France Soleils here. Ah,
82 Lima cross, runway 35.
so there is more traffic. EasyJet's just landed. Look at the beautiful light here. British Airways behind us. So get the Easy off the runway. Interesting, he's vacating to the right. Probably using the first available exit. Even though in the real world when we land on runway 17, we just let it roll to the end and then vacate right at the apron. I like the way how the textures of the runway and the taxiways are behaving in the twilight conditions here, where they really don't shine compared to the grass next to them. That's something that you don't see too often. Many airports just make their custom surfaces too bright. But that's not the case over here. Luxair 32 Papa Romeo is ready for departure.
Luxair 32 Papa Romeo, runway 17, wind 240 and 6, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 17 cleared for takeoff, Luxair 32 Papa Romeo. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. So LNAV and VNAV. Okay, before takeoff checklist below the line, MCP. Is set. Transponder, TA arrays, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Okay, are you ready for a rolling takeoff?
On runway.
Takeoff.
17.
Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Tracked. Gear up. LNAV, VNAV. Over to departure, Luxair 32 Victor Romeo. Porto departure, Luxair 32 Papa Romeo, passing 1800, climbing level 100.
Luxair 32 Papa Romeo, Porto departure, identified climb flight level 240.
Climbing flight level 220, Luxair 32 Papa Romeo. Set, 220 checked. Okay, acceleration altitude. And set standard. So cross check, passing 3-3 now. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. Flaps up, no lights. After takeoff checklist. Air condition and pressurization 2.0, climbing and set. Altimeters standard, passing flight level 40 now. Checked, after takeoff checklist complete. Okay then, weather is definitely not a factor here. I'm gonna go to terrain on my side, because we are gonna turn towards the terrain in a few moments. And not at least officially above the MSA just yet. Okay then, and we're cleared above flight level 150, so let's go ahead and set and delete that reduced climb thrust. If you can look through this, then there's no ice in it either. So that's a lovely 4,000 feet a minute.
Maintain 10,000. Up to 10,000, Griffin 65 Whiskey Lima.
Okay, and we are cleared above level 100, so I am gonna delete that 10,000. Alright. We're meeting all those altitude restrictions easily anyway, so nothing to be worried about. Okay then, passing level 100, let's accelerate, and once we have flown the acceleration, then and only then I am going to turn on the autopilot, do the 10 checks, and that's it then.
Cabin service will begin shortly. Thank you for your attention.
I just love how the pitch power values completely work in the PMDG. In the real world, 15 degrees pitch after takeoff, a little bit more if you're really light. Then for acceleration 7.5, then at 250 you need 12.5 to 10, and then for the acceleration at 105 degrees pitch, obviously getting a little bit lower when you are getting faster then, and then about 7.5 degrees pitch for the rest of the climb. And when you fly the airplane according to those values, you eventually run right into the flight director. See? Like this. Okay. Command A. And then we can do the 10 checks, please. So the fuel is pretty much balanced with 4 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air cannon press, 4.8 climbing and set, fast melts on. But we can already release the cabin, recall checked, monitoring 1 to 1.5, and then we can connect to CPDLC. So ATC, lock on status, Lima Echo Charlie Mike, and send. Okay, lovely. So let's have a look at the VNAV page. Optimum 390, maximum 408, 380 is planned, then 380 it is. 2.9 versus 2.3, so 15 minutes extra fuel. Fantastic. Everything works like a charm. By the way, if you're wondering, when we checked the fuel, we had 0 kilos in the center pump, in the center tank, but you will remember from earlier on that we actually had 100 kilos in there. Remember, we loaded 7.9, the wings in the 737 can take 7.8, so we did have 100 kilos in there. The reason why you don't see any fuel in here anymore is because of the pitch of the aircraft. When the plane is pitching up, the center tank fuel gauge underreads. When it's pitching down, it overreads. So, no, we don't have fuel leak, and we didn't actually use the center pumps at all. But that is actually correct behavior of the aircraft, and one of the many dozens of small details that you get with a PMDG aircraft that you pretty much don't get with anyone else except for Phoenix, maybe. Okay, ATC call. Lock on accepted. Great then. So, relax, sit back. No, the other way around. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And then I'll see you all when we start the approach into our destination airport in, yeah, around about 2 hours. Alright, my friends, we're approaching Luxembourg. You can see the city on the left hand side with the airport visible right over there as well. Now, beautiful views outside here, and by the way, I do need to apologize for those frame rate problems we had on our departure. My simulator runs totally fine, and for some reason at some point Streamlabs just stops recording like the frame rate and, you know, just goes to a standstill. I think it's some VRAM problem or something. But yeah, let's listen to what...
Cleared Bravo 3 Sierra transition. Cleared for the ILS Yankee runway 24 approach into Luxembourg.
Okay, ILS Yankee 24 via the Bravo 3 Sierra. We got that. Then let's go ahead and take a seat over here and turn that fasten seatbelt sign on. And then we can start working on our approach. Now, really gotta say how fantastic this looks out here. Really feels just like the real 737. The lighting is fantastic over here. Like halfway up, that's exactly what it looks like. Beautiful. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish up the last bits of CPDLC down here. Yeah, we're over at Paris, blah blah blah. And we're with approach. Thank you. Okay, lovely. Well then, let's go ahead and start talking about the approach briefing. So weather is definitely not an issue here, so I'm gonna go over to terrain on my side as well. Now for the approach, threats for the arrival, honestly I do not really see any over here. Now for our FMS we have 250 below 100, the forecast page is filled in except for the QNH. Let's just see, what is it? Arrival, Luxembourg, 1021. Okay, so set QNH. And 1021 is cost check, passing 10,200 now. Checked. Alright, let's keep that speed below 250. Thank you. Because otherwise this is gonna happen. Okay, so, yeah, QNH is in, fixed rings, gonna be around runway 24, and we'll take a 10-mile ring, and we'll take a 4-mile ring. Now, for the rest of the briefing, we are flying the ILS approach runway 24 over in Luxembourg, 3-degree glide slope, minimum 1430, set left and set right. Now, we are clear to descend via the arrival, he said earlier, so let's go down 6,000. Set. And yeah, so that stuff is in over here. Frequencies 110.7 tuned active, and courses 237 also set. The go around is straight ahead right turn out via Lima X-ray 8901 and climbing to an altitude of 4,000 feet. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions or suggestions? No. Alright, perfect. Oh, come on. Yeah, service terminated, thank you. Log off is also checked. Connection has been terminated. Yeah, just don't send too many messages, please. Right, in any case, all that stuff is now checked and eliminated. Okay, so, 10 tracks. Fuel balanced, 4 pumps on, lights on, angular bank 25, air conditioning and pressurization is at 2.2 descending set, fast modes on, recall checked, and 1 to 1.5 still monitoring, CPDLC disconnected, 10 checks completed. Then let's continue the approach down to 4,000. And then we can do the frisk check, please. So, frequencies 110.7, fixed rings, runway 24, 10 miles, 4 miles. Items, India, Lima, Whiskey, checked 3 times, standby instruments are set, and the course is 237. Approach checklist, altimeters and instruments, cross-checked, approach rates, checked and set, approach checklist completed. then you can have the VSD, and with that we are finally done with everything we had to do over here. Alright then, our first officer is handling the comms, that means we have some capacity left, so let's take over manually. So ATC said via the Vabo 30 arrival we are cleared for the ILS, that means we can fly the entire base turn and everything. You can see the terrain is a bit more of a threat here than weather, that's why both pilots are currently on the terrain display. And we can see any weather that we could potentially find outside, so no problem here anyway. Alright, we are getting nice and slow. What's the flight director doing here? Doesn't really seem to know when to start and stop the turns. Okay, flaps 1. Speed checked. So we can only arm approach mode when we are seeing the localizer and the glide slope on both sides. And flaps 5. Speed checked. And here we go, now we see everything. So, approach armed. Localizer capture, glide slope capture. Go around altitude 4000 set.
Lux Air 32 Papa Romeo.
And runway heading 237 is also set.
Luxembourg Tower, Lux Air 32 Papa Romeo. Good evening. Established on the ILS runway 24 approach.
Does look like we need a little bit of thrust here. Alright, and there's the field on our 12 o'clock. Slightly right at centerline, correcting that. Flight director guidance wasn't optimal here.
Lux Air 32 Papa Romeo, runway 24, winds 120 at 4, cleared to land.
Okay, and we are clear to land.
Runway 24, cleared to land. Lux Air 32 Papa Romeo.
Okay, let's already go ahead and do a bit of stuff here. Train noted. Alright, good old 737 procedures here. Extending the gear at 4 miles. It's just incredible what this plane can do. Now I'm gonna work ahead a little bit, because otherwise when flying single pilot, stuff can get a little busy. Alright, gear down, flaps 15. Landing checklist down to flaps. And flaps 30. Speed checked, flaps 30. So, start switches, continuous, recall checked, speed brake armed, green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake 2 set, flaps. 30, 30, green light, landing lights on. So, checklist complete, crew seated, and we are clear to land. So we should have a pitch somewhere around 1 degree. Why is the pitch like that high? I mean, yes, we are slightly low, but on speed, but here we are, back on speed, 140 knots, so we should have 700 feet a minute. 500 continue. Well, that's something wrong down here. That pitch is supposed to be somewhere about in the region of 1 degree, not 2.
Approaching minimums.
Check.
Approaching minimums. 300.
What?
Minimums.
Continue.
Minimums.
No terrain.
100. 50. 40. 50. 30. 40. 20. 10. 20. 10.
Speed brakes up. Thrust reverse normal. And 80%. 100 knots. Manual brakes.
Via Charlie, Bravo 1, Lima 3, Lima, staying on this frequency. Lux Air 32, Papa Romeo.
Okay, let's first of all vacate that runway and then we see where we are gonna go. So, flared a tiny bit too high.
Did you know that Luxembourg is
And thus landed a little long. But apart from that,
has 3 official languages? Thank you for flying with
apart from that, it was easy going.
until we reach our final
Then let's really slow it down.
flight crew. Thank you for flying.
Get onto that parallel taxiway here.
It's 10:49 p.m. For those with connections, please note the following. Flight 235
Here we
to
are.
Charles de Gaulle, departing at 11:15 p.m. from gate B3, and flight 450 to Nice, departing at 11:30 p.m. from gate C1.
Alright, then let's have a quick look into the taxiways here. We're on Alpha 14, that's over here. And for that we go straight ahead and then Lima 2 down into the taxiways. And the apron. Okay, easy going. So, GSX, and we want Alpha 14. Handling by Luxair, and that's it. Alright guys, I would say that was a very enjoyable flight that we've done over here. Definitely not the type of flight that you have seen on this channel in a little while, but with that I mean, you know, brand new 737 aircraft, even though we did have couple of them over the recent times. Alright, so let's see. Lima 2 is the next one on the left then. And that is a one-way system they have over here, so not much we can do to cut that short. Okay, here we go. That's Lima 2. Okay, start APU. So we do have 3 minutes. Shutdown engine 2. Okay, and our gate is gonna be to the left, second stand on the right. And master caution elec is because of the engine shutdown. Okay, here's Alpha 12, we go one further to Alpha 14. And down there it is. So the radar is off and lights off. Here we go, Alpha 14. Okay. And stop. There's 2 blue, 1 red, engines dead. Cabin crew, disarm doors and cross-check. Okay. So here we are, full shutdown please. And we got both engines below 20. Alright. Shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps, 1 on, electrical, on APU, fast melts, off, window heat, off, probe heat, auto, anti-ice, off, elec hydraulic pumps, off, voice recorder, auto, air compacts, off, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, exterior lights, steady logo and wheel well, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, parking brake sets, flaps up no light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CBR CB in, and cockpit door unlocked. And that's our transit shutdown checklist complete. Well, full shutdown checklist complete. So, a little late here, 20:55, schedule would have been 10 minutes earlier at 20:45, but that's the best we could do here. So guys, I do hope that you have enjoyed the flight with us today. As always, leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. Like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Once again, my apologies for that video recorder acting up. As mentioned, if I could see it live on screen, then I would be able to do something about it. Unfortunately, you only really see it in the aftermath when it tells you skipped frames. So yeah, that's everything I can do about that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again right on the next one.